Okay, so let's start with the arms behind. Stretching open the chest, it tends to close down. Civilization. The whole idea of it really is that it doesn't require spirit. So we can get by without heart. So the heart atrophies a little, needs a lot of work. And slowly get the head into it. Stretching the neck, loosening the vertebra at the top of the spine. And now the hands together. Just press the hands slightly. So a bit of pressure pushing. And just turning the head. Really try and twist it as far as it will go. Let the eyes go further. So my eyes are trying to look at the point on the wall behind me. Then linking the fingers together. Hold the fingers and pull. Trying to pull the hands apart. And now looking up and down. So pulling the head right back, feeling that point in the spine that needs to come in a bit to get the head to go as far back as it can. And then the hands pressing again. And now moving the eyes. So keeping the head quite still and looking left and looking right. Left and right. Then linking the fingers again and pulling gently. Now the eyes looking up and down again, trying to keep the head still. I just look up and then I cast the eyes down, look down. Feel the energy in the spine. When I look up, it drives something down my spine and into the chair. And when I pull the eyes to look down, something rises up the spine. Good. And then just rubbing the hands. And the knees. Remember, I'm really trying to get belly, lower back. Breathing now. Pulling the belly in. Tensing the lower back. Try to get it all coming from the spine. Flexing forwards and extending back. If you can get the arms and the hands not moving of themselves, then you'll feel the air. Then turning a little bit. Good. And then rubbing the hands again. And then placing the hands over the eyes, palming. You can either have the eyes open or closed, but either way, you shouldn't really see any light. Trying to block out all of the light. And the hands up and out and snaking. Eyes ahead, but seeing and hearing, listening. It's almost like you're trying to look with your eyes. It's like a Taoist thing. Listen with the eyes, look with the ears. You get used to seeing things with the corner of our eyes. Like you can sort of sense movement, and as soon as you look at it straight, the movement disappears. If you look at something, you affect it. If you glance at something gently, then you encourage it. Hands up and down. And then just back to the meditation posture. Feeling the four elements: the earth or the ground beneath you, the pool, the belly, the dantian, your little reservoir, cool and dark and still, but liquid, and so there's always movement within it. Then the fire of the thymus, gently smouldering, if not flickering away. And then the head, just tuning in to the universe, to consciousness. They're all difficult. We know how difficult it is to keep mind in the Dan Chan. The heart flares up and then disappears, so it's difficult to have a constant heart. But that's really what we're trying to do. A sense that this is lifting and always ready to come out through your throat, out of your mouth. It says in the Tai Chi classics, concentrate on spirit and you will be strong. Concentrate on anything else and you will be weak. So spirit is the spark that wakes us up. That is the struggle, to be truly awake, living in a society that doesn't require that at all. Let's pull in the rope. Do some work for a change. Give and take. Feel the spirit. As I reach out, the further out I reach, the more sort of expectant and the more anticipatory I am. And my eyes widen. That's just spirit expressing itself. So your spirit is going out to meet the thing that you're claiming, which if you were having to yield to another person would be their energy, their spirit. Your spirit goes out to meet theirs, and just as it's making contact, it yields so that there's no clash. Feel the intensity of the reach, and then that point where it breaks, where it's suddenly you just soften, you surrender. And the spirit comes back in. Something in me gets fierce and ready for that encounter. And then something just softens and reels in. The yang followed by the yin, the male followed by the female. Just settle in riding horse a sec. Feeling the spine, gathering, funneling these lines of gravity down through the skeleton. Feeling the sacrum spreading to get those lines into the legs and down into the ground. The action of pulling in the rope, we want to do the same thing, but with the feet, to pull myself from side to side. So this foot is sort of reaching, and then it yields and pulls in. So it's the same action, but now I'm using it to move myself physically from leg to leg. So it moves me from side to side. It also turns me. So when the leg straightens, it moves me into the other leg, but it also twists me towards the other leg. toes splay and stretch, and then grip at the ground to pull me. It pulls me into the leg and it pulls me towards the foot. So turns me towards the foot. Try your utmost to get the leg as straight as you can. And then when it bends, it's just got a bit more oomph. And now just going back to pulling in the rope, but thinking of it now in terms of the legs. So the same action with the legs. I straighten the leg and then I bend the leg. So it's not so intense in the arms, but much more intense in the legs. My leg is straightening, my leg is bending, my leg is straightening and then bending. Feel the legs. It's not in the arms, it's in the legs. The hands just happen to be moving, but I have to keep my attention in the legs because I'm trying to feel how the turn of the waist comes from the action of the legs, the alternate action of the 2 feet on the ground. And then if I simply turn and don't reach, just turn around my spine, it's the same. The legs are exactly the same as what I've just been doing. Now my hands are just staying with the circle. You can think of the reaching forwards as like the hand flying off as a tangent to the circle to reach forwards. So something in the spirit has to release and spark for that to happen. But here, my hands are just staying with the circle. So it doesn't require that same intensity of spirit. It's more like a smouldering spirit rather than one that's actually burst into flames. Feel the action of the 2 feet on the ground. One foot is clenching at the ground and the other foot is stretching its toes. And just relax it. Now, just the first warm-up exercise. But it's still the same. It's just not quite so focused. So everything that we practice, we're trying to internalize so that it becomes natural for us. So this is the way of it. We really concentrate on something to try and get it as exact and as correct as possible. And then we just let it go. See where it's gone, see where it's coming from. Just go back and forth. So drawing the strength up the leg and into the other side of the body. But this is actually difficult. I mean, everything is difficult if you do it right. So this leg is pulling to get me into it, but at the same time, it's relaxing so strength of the leg can come up. So I am moving into the leg. My weight is sinking down the leg, but the strength is coming up from the ground. It's just difficult to keep those two movements there. But it's the flow up from the ground. That's why we sink. We sink to stimulate the flow upwards. The energy that comes up from the ground, you think of the ground, you have sort of heavy and solid and still relatively inert it is. But the energy that it releases is the opposite. It's so fine and delicate. And so as my leg is getting stronger to hold me up, I just want to keep it porous enough so that this fine fizzy energy can rise up through me and into the opposite hand or into whatever I'm expressing. You could be talking to someone, but the energy, if it's got real ebullience, real spirit, really effusive and enthusiastic, then that's coming from the ground. And energy is bubbling up. And let's try with the other foot forwards. Exactly the same thing. And as you come forward, you're pulling with the foot, but this is the part, the bit in the groin, that's opening up to swallow the ground. So this joint, the hip joint, the groin, it needs to stay really loose and open. Riding force again. Flowing down the spine and spreading down the legs into the heels and around the feet. Now let's just dip down and lift the ball. Feeling the active legs. Again, it's these points. This whole area is like a mouth that opens wide in order to swallow some of the ground. Imagine you're eating an apple, just how enthusiastically you need to open that mouth to get it around the apple. It's the same with the legs here. So you don't need to go down very far. You just need to get that sense of opening in order to swallow. Good. Now, just lifting the leg. You hold it long enough just to relax into it. Relaxing the leg as much as you can, but particularly relaxing across the sacrum. Then you'll feel the sinking down the outside edge and the rising up the inside. Each time just trying to get the knee up just a little bit higher. All of this lifting the leg and the sinking as well, it's working on the lower back, the sacrum and the lumbar spine. The knee coming up stimulates the sinking down the back and vice versa. Just help the knee up a little. Pull it up a centimetre or so. Feel how when you give it support, when it's no longer having to hold itself, because it's quite heavy, the leg, then you can just relax into the sacrum a lot easier and down the leg. Trying to get the knee up. In the sinking down the back, down the outside of the leg, and then the rising coming up the inside of the leg and up the front of the body. Okay, let's just bring it back to riding horse. Again, feeling that circuit flowing down the back. The up the front will just happen naturally. There's basically two circuits. There's this way, and there's this way. The spirited circuit is the one that flows down the back and up the front. The spiritless circuit, which may be important, I mean, because one needs to rest and come back to oneself to recharge one's batteries. That would be this. But what I want to make sure is that when I'm moving around, when I'm active, I'm in spirited phase. Because if I'm moving around whilst I'm in spiritless phase, then I'll just be heavy, I'll be a lump. It's what John would call a sack of potatoes, Tai Chi. When you see people, when they step, they'll lift the foot, and the feeling is that the leg goes out like this. With this circuit, it sort of falls down from, the leg falls down from here, and then their weight's already in the leg. We want to get the opposite circuit all the time. So when I lift the leg like this, it pulls me under, so that when I send the leg out, it's stretching forwards from underneath. And then I pull myself into it, because what I don't want is this. I don't want to get this circuit. So let's just try a little bit of the stepping. So lifting the foot. I just want to get the knee high enough so that I really feel like I'm sitting down into that supporting leg. And then just send the foot out and imagine that it's reaching from underneath the leg. I'm reaching with my heel. And then I draw myself into it. So what I don't want is to get too much curvature into the lower back and get this feeling of falling down from on high. I want the feeling that I've sneaked down from behind into that bit of ground. This is difficult. So I've got to sink, you've got to sink to step and then get this feeling that the leg is coming out. And then you pull yourself into it. And then you step back. Stepping back is really difficult. You've got to put the toe down first, but still want this feeling that I'm sliding down the back and the outside of the leg. I sneak forwards. So, yeah, I'm trying to get the foot as high as my belly, because I want that to feel sort of really natural. That's like where it wants to be. And then when I move here, I'm just trying to pull them together again. The belly is being pulled down towards the foot, and then this foot is being pulled up towards the belly. The foot draws me down towards it. This is real Dan Chen work. Feeling the Dan Chen as something that sucks everything towards it. Okay, let's just bring it back. Let's just try a bit of this one. Alternating the two sides of the body. I'm feeling that naturally producing a turn. The eyes will tend to try and stop you from turning. The eyes focusing on objects around you will stunt your spirit. And then just bring it to standstill, but it's still there, still turning, still the up and the down, alternating in the two sides of the body. Almost like, if we could train ourselves to breathe in with one lung as the other lung is breathing out, that would sort of be ideal. And you've got this movement is there all the time, this sort of wriggly spinal movement.